Hi, Karim. Welcome on board. It's been quite a long time that I've been waiting for you, and I've been chasing you. At last, I got you today.
Hey, with big things on the horizon, we're eventually destined to cross paths. So I love to be patient, and I believe that we're in the right place at the right time. We're going to do some phenomenal things on this interview. We're going to change some minds and change some hearts today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Karim, you have been in the industry as a motivational speaker, as a coach, as a trainer for more than 10 years. Now, there are a lot of people who would love to come to that sort of industry. What made you come to become a trainer? Did you see that potential in you? Somebody, did you have a coach who found out that potential in you, or did you find it out yourself? What's your advice to the coming generation who would like to be a motivational speaker? I know that you're a powerful speaker. I watched a lot of your videos on YouTube. So what made you come into this area or to this industry, and how did you find out your own potential?
Wow, that is a really, really good question. That is a loaded question. I'll tell you what, here's my thing. I didn't originally start out wanting to be a paid professional speaker. I didn't want to start out being a motivational speaker or inspirational speaker. What I did find out is this. I was the college dropout. I was the person who went to school. I wasn't satisfied in the direction I was going in. And so I ended up dropping out because I don't believe in trying to achieve something that's not really loyal to it here or up here. And so with me dropping out, I felt like I was a failure to my family. The family had, college degrees and individuals of the family that was going to school. And I was the person that dropped out. So I felt like a little bit of a loser. And I had a mentor come into my life years ago that said something so powerful for me. He said to me that in order for you to identify why you're here, to identify your purpose, you have to look at the gifts and talents that the Almighty's already given to you.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things I did was I got really good at identifying my giftedness. Because I strongly believe that we're all put here for a purpose. Our gifts and talents are the things that are given to us to help us achieve that purpose.
Absolutely.
And so when I looked over at my giftedness, I noticed 3 gifts that ran rampant throughout the course of my life. The first gift was I was always an awesome communicator.
Wow.
I was the person that always held the attention of everyone in the classroom. If I gave a quick report, everyone, the attention was magically captured just like that. However, I was also very, very creative. I was always the person that was coming up with multiple different scenarios or solutions to get to the finish line. And then the last thing a lot of people don't know about me, I actually skipped a grade. I went from kindergarten to 2nd grade. So as a young child, I could pick up information and master it very, very quickly. And so what I did was I sat down and looked at the gifts and talents that I was given since I came onto this planet and understood those gifts and talents actually pronounced the purpose. So for me, once I understood what my gifts and talents were, the purpose came naturally. I mean, it came very, very easily. Now, here's the thing. To speak in the motivational aspect, you have to understand that because we both do this on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
The number one fear in the world is public speaking.
Exactly.
You got to understand it. You have people that is willing to face many other more horrifying things versus get in front of a room with strangers and give an inspiring message. So
absolutely.
I think for most of us that want to motivate and inspire, we're called to do it. That means we've been doing it on a regular basis. So once I identified my gifts, I ran things through a principle I call GPS your success. And what that simply means is this, is I feel like our lives mirror a GPS. Now, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this or not, because I think almost everywhere someone has used the GPS. A GPS is what I call a vision machine. That means I put an address inside my GPS. And my GPS sole purpose is to show me how to get from where I am to where I want to be. So once I figured out that I really want to go full stream with motivating and inspiring people, that was the address I gave to my life's GPS. So everything that I did had to push me closer towards that destination, whether I was working in a 9-to-5 arena, whether it was relationships and friendships that I was working on, everything had to be something that was pushing me steadily towards my destination of getting on stage and impacting lives.
Wow. You use the word motivation and inspiration. What's the difference between the two, and why do you call yourself as a motivational speaker rather than an inspirational speaker? Or is it the other way around?
Well, here's the thing. I feel like, honestly, with me as a speaker, I fall into both genres. With motivation just the ability to get someone to move in a certain direction. So when I motivate people, I find a lot of folks where they have an idea of what they want to do, but they let life get in the way. Or in other words, they're creatures of what I call the comfort zone. And everybody has a comfort zone, including myself. We all have comfort zones. The idea being is in order for us to leave the comfort zone, generally speaking, there has to be some sort of pain issue inside the comfort zone that causes the person to want to leave. So when you motivate someone, typically you're motivating them to leave their comfort zone. Now, inspiration to me is a little bit different, because when you inspire someone, inspiration to me is more about the concept of thought and the imagination. When I inspire you, a lot of times I will get a person to, I want to say, dive deep into one of the most powerful tools we have, which is our imagination, which is the ability to create a reality that doesn't exist. So I look at the two totally different. When I motivate someone, I'm motivating them to leave their comfort zone and achieve greatness. But when I inspire you, I get you to take a look at the future that does not exist and get you to believe up here that it does exist if I make certain moves.
Wow, that's very powerful. I know that you're very much a believer of a GPS. And you're coming up with a book as well, which has got the title GPS. What's the book all about, and when can we expect that?
So the book is set for a January release. It was originally set to drop in December, but we're pushing it back. My favorite mentor in the world, I'm sure he's a great mentor to you as well, Les Brown's doing the foreword on the book.
Oh, great.
We're pushing it back to get the foreword done. But like I said earlier, GPS Your Success is all about how to set and achieve vision. One of my favorite scriptures says, write the vision and make it plain. My second favorite scripture is, without a vision, the people perish. So that lets me know that every single person should have some sort of vision for what it is they want to do while we're on this planet. The problem I see with most people is we don't have a vision. And without vision, people perish. That means goals and dreams have an expiration date attached to them. A lot of people don't figure that out. So when I talk about GPS Your Success, I teach them in 5 segments. The first segment is about setting the address. In other words, where in the world do you want to go? Because I'm a firm believer that 90% of the people I encounter on a regular basis have no clue where they want to go. And so this is how you get stuck at a job for 10 years when you really should have been there for 3 years. This is how you get stuck in relationships that you never should have been in for 10 years, but because you had no idea about what it is you actually want from life, that 10-year relationship really should have been only like a 30-day relationship for you figured out we don't have much in common. This is how I see a lot of business partnerships that never should have been created get stuck in the long haul because no one set their GPS for what it is they want to achieve. Once I got clear on setting the address, the goals I went after became very, very simple. So the first thing about setting the address being that you understand exactly where it is you want to go with your life. What are the goals? What are the dreams? What are the things you want to achieve? When you put an address in the GPS sole mission is to get you to the destination you put inside the address. So if I know my goal is to be a paid professional speaker, why am I wasting my time at a job that has nothing to do with that? I'm not picking up any skill sets. I'm not learning anything at all that's going to help me get closer to my destination. Okay? So the first thing is about setting the address. The second thing I talk about is the concept of clarity. Because when you give an address to a GPS doesn't give you goofy instructions. It doesn't say something real weird that's confusing for you to understand. Every time I put an address in my GPS, the instructions are crystal clear. They're very simple to follow. Here's the thing about the human mind. Confusion equals no. That means if I give you something confusing and you don't understand it, you're going to ask me to repeat it. And if I give it to you the same way again and you don't get it the second time, chances are you're going to say no. Because we don't like dealing with confusing things. That's the way the subconscious mind is set up. And so the idea being is when I chase a goal or dream, how clear am I about the thing that I want? I mean, do I have crystal clear clarity about what I'm going after? Most people, if I ask them about their goals and dreams, they'll give me a vague response. They'll say, this year I want to make a lot of money. Well, what's a lot of money to you? Because if I give you $10, you have more money than we started the conversation with.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people turn that down. No, I want more money. Okay, so let's get crystal clear. You want 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000? When you say you want to lose weight, how much weight do you want to lose? You want to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds? When are we trying to get this done by? What's your deadline? We're trying to do it by December 31st, February 2nd, 2019. Because the more clear I am about what I want to achieve, the easier it is for my subconscious mind to take hold of it.
Exactly.
And to create a plan or a plan to make it a dream that's achievable and realistic. So the second thing is about clarity. So the third thing we talk about is the concept of connectability. Let me give it to you in a different way. When I put an address inside a GPS, the GPS will ping a local cell phone tower. That tower will then ping an overhead satellite in outer space, and that satellite's sole job is to try to map the destination of where I'm trying to get to. Once it figures that out, it shoots it back to that cell phone tower, back to my cell phone. So in real time, as long as I'm connected to that satellite, I'm on my way. Now, a few months ago, I was lined up to meet an event planner for a speaking engagement.
Okay.
He was an old-fashioned event planner. He didn't want to do anything over email. He didn't want to do anything over the cell phone. He was old-fashioned, where he wanted to sign on ink and he wanted to do a handshake. And I was okay with it. It took a while, but I was okay with it. So I set out to meet this gentleman at about 9 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday.
Okay.
Got caught in rush hour traffic around 8:30. I'm about 10 minutes from the destination. So I'm watching the road. I'm looking at the GPS. I'm watching the road. I'm looking at the GPS. I'm watching the road. And then out of nowhere, I hit this dead spot. See, in the States, we have a couple areas where if you hit dead spots, you lose your signal. So sometimes when you get in elevators or garages, you lose the signal. Well, I just happened to go past one of these dead spots. And so here I am 2 minutes away from my turn off. But because I hit that dead spot, I go barreling right past my exit ramp. I end up showing up late for the appointment. He doesn't like the fact of the bad first impression I made, and so I lost this lucrative speaking engagement just because I hit a dead zone. The problem I see with most of us is this. Some of us are aware of who we need to stay connected with to be successful. So when I talk about connectability, we talk about the coaches and the mentors and the peers that we connect with. And it's deeper than that. Sometimes it's the environments that we place ourselves in. Because to be successful, I learned that I had to hang around other successful people. Jim Rohn said it best. He said, your life will mirror that of the 5 people you hang with the most. So when I hang around successful people, success tends to flow naturally. But let's talk about that dead zone concept, because this is super powerful. A lot of us are around dead zones. We don't even realize it. So when I talk about dead zones, I talk about spaces and places, people and places and things and environments where we lose our signal over what address is placed inside our life's GPS. So I remember having this golden dream of being a paid speaker. I want to go out there and motivate, inspire. The problem being I was working a 40-hour-week job where I was focused on watering my boss's golden dream. So in that 40-hour time space, 5 days a week, I wasn't thinking about my golden dream. I wasn't working on building the business, building the brand, connecting with the Maxwell team, connecting with the Les Brown Institute. None of that stuff was important to me during that 40-hour time spot. That was a dead zone. I've had friends and peers that were dead zones where I would get off work and hang around them. They want to go out and party and have fun. And I would lose my focus over what was the goal I'm supposed to be going after. Sometimes I believe organizations can be the same exact way. I belong to organizations that were great starting out, but I would hit what I call the dead spot in the organization, where I was no longer growing, I was no longer being fed. And it's easy for you to create a comfort zone inside a dead zone, which means your dream is hanging on by a fine thread. So I talk about in the book the concept of connectability, meaning who do you need to connect with that can open doors and present opportunity, or better yet, with coaches and mentors who can actually take you the distance, show you what you need to do, so you're not wasting your most valuable resource, which is time. Every golden dream is mirrored in time, but I also talk about the dead zones, how dead zones can stagnate you and cause you to miss focus on your goal and dream and actually cause you to lose your way. The fourth thing I talk about is the concept of recalculation. Now, in order for me to explain this, I got to give you a story with it. I got to give you something powerful. So, a few years ago, I got my first Porsche convertible, and I'm a Porsche enthusiast. When I got this sports car, I was just head over heels in love with it. Got the car, was going to show my buddy this beautiful car. He had a birthday party coming up, and I wanted to surprise him with it. I didn't want them to know I got it. And so the car's an all-white, beautiful Porsche, white on silver. Got it professionally detailed for a couple $100. Got on the road. The party starts at 7 o'clock. I'm on the road at 6 o'clock. And as I'm driving down the highway, I get behind this cherry red Mustang. Car looks beautiful. In this car are a bunch of teenagers. They're all about somewhere between 17, 16 years old, and they're horsing around inside the car. So I'm driving a steady distance behind them, noticing all the foolishness going on inside the car. And then out of nowhere, the unexpected happens. Young child in the back seat decides he no longer wants this giant Slurpee cup that he has. Decides to throw it out the window on the highway at 70 miles per hour. Now, I know what he was thinking. He had the belief that he could throw it with enough speed and velocity that it would land safely on the side of the highway. Here's the problem. The law of physics did not agree with this young man. So he throws the cup out the window catches the wind catches the lid, and in about 3 seconds, my brand new Porsche convertible is covered in purple Slurpee. Just covered in it. And so I'm upset. And I forgot about the party. And I'm chasing these kids all the way down the highway to give them a piece of my mind because I'm upset. I go, how in the world could you do this to my vehicle? I chased these kids for about 30 minutes. Finally go from Cincinnati, Ohio to Kentucky. So we cross state lines. And then finally I felt God was speaking to me saying, let them go, let them go, let them go. You can't chase the kids. And I decided to let them go. Now, I get out the car. I look at my vehicle. It's covered. All this stuff is just stained the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to decide at this point, do I even want to go to the party? Because at this point, the party started at like 7 o'clock. At this point, it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm late.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I'm thinking about going all the way back to my house and calling it a night, I go to look at my GPS and I notice one thing. The GPS is saying recalculating, recalculating, recalculating. That means throughout this whole mess, this whole fiasco where I got distracted by what these kids had done to my vehicle, the GPS never gave up on the address that I originally intended for it to get to. I decided to go to a car wash, wash the car off, put some gas in the car, and I showed up at the party. I got there like around 8:45. So I got there late, but I still got to my destination. Why is that important for your listeners? Because the thing I've learned is this: is life happens. There's no way you can get out of life without life happening, and life tends to happen at the wrong time. It happens at the wrong time. So for some of you listeners right now, you may be in situations where you're dealing with financial setbacks. You may have just lost your job. You may be going through relationship challenges, or divorce may be looming, or you just went through foreclosure. You may be dealing with all types of challenges. You may have just learned about a physical illness that just rocked you and rocked your family. And so the challenge I have for you is this: even though life has had its way with you, what was the address that you put inside your life's GPS when you started the journey? Most people get so discouraged that instead of recalculating to get to the finish line, they throw in the towel and go home. What a lot of people don't know about me was roughly 3 years ago. My anniversary date's coming up here soon on November 3rd. November 3rd, 2015, I found myself in an altercation while I was trying to do the right thing. I saw a domestic violence situation. The guy was beating on a young lady. I tried to intervene, and the guy pulled out a 9mm and shot me directly in my right kneecap. Thank God I'm here with you. I didn't lose my life. But I had to learn how to walk all over again. I had speaking engagements booked out for the next 3 or 4 months, and here I am in a situation where I've already been paid. How do I go on? I can't walk. I'm actually on crutches. I'm having to go through physical therapy. And I have to remind myself, what was the address you put inside your GPS before the setback took place? Because at the end of the day, the GPS's job is to get you to your finish line. There's nothing that says that you can't get to your finish line and face a temporary delay. The issue being is, honestly, how bad do you want it? Okay. And then the last thing I'll talk about is number 5, checking your history log. So I got a young friend of mine who got caught cheating on his significant other a couple years ago. And I'm going to ask you, Farookh, just I want you to guess. How do you think this man got caught cheating on his wife? Just a wild guess.
Maybe on the telephone, or maybe on the WhatsApp, or a message, or whatever it is.
Those are some good answers. This is what ended up happening. He got caught on his GPS. All your female listeners are listening real close now. Like, I got to hear how this happened. So my buddy worked at a job that never gave overtime. I mean, it never gave overtime. And so out of nowhere, he tells his wife, we got this new client. They need every able-bodied person to be present for the next 3 months. So I'm going to have mandatory overtime. I'm going to have to go to work a lot of times. I'll be sitting there after hours. I'm going to be coming home late. There's some weekends I'm going to be gone. And she didn't think anything about it, because she loved her husband so much. And so here was the thing with this household: they had 2 cars. Now, depending on the usage or depending on the need, that would decide who gets the actual SUV that the family share. And so for the first 2 weeks of this overtime, he's using the SUV. Second week, she says, I want to run somewhere with it, so she gets the SUV. Now, her pastime hobby, she liked to visit this little small boutique in town. But for the life of her, she couldn't remember the name of the place. So she sat online on Google trying to figure it out for a couple hours, couldn't figure it out. And then she remembered she did visit it a few months ago. And so technically speaking, the address should be inside the GPS history log. She gets into the car. She starts the engine. She pulls up the GPS. She searches the history log. And wouldn't you know it, the address she's looking for is right there. Now, that wasn't the only address she found, though. A bunch of addresses she had no clue about. She found a couple of expensive restaurants. She found a couple of fun hangout places, movie theaters, amusement parks. And she, sadly enough, also found a couple of hotels. Now, why am I giving you this scenario? And for all the women that are listening or leaning in, I'm not giving you this scenario so you can say, hey, I heard Karim and Farookh speak, and Karim gave the greatest advice on how to catch my man cheating. That's not the reason why I'm doing it. That's not why I'm doing it. What I am saying is this. If I were to step through this screen right now and ask you to let me see your life's GPS so I can take a look at the history log, so I can take a look at the addresses that have been inside of it, but I find that you've been cheating on your goals and dreams with everybody else's agenda. The number one reason why people don't achieve success is not because they're not clear about the address they want to go after. It's not about they're confused on the direction of how to go there. It's not even the fact of them not having the right connections, that they're not connected with the right mentors, or they're sitting around in dead zones. It's not even the fact that they're not even willing to recalculate if they get off the beaten path. The number one reason why folks fail to achieve their goals and dreams is they spend too much time cheating on their goals and dreams with everybody else's agenda. If I look at your history log, it'll tell me where you've been. So when folks ask me why it was so important for me personally to leave the 9-to-5 arena, because when I looked at my life's GPS, all I saw was my job's address popping up. I mean, I'm spending 40 hours a week watering their seed and no time watering my own. So powerful. So very, very powerful.
Wow. Wow. This was actually a training session. I felt it's a training session, and that's absolutely free. Karim, before we go for the final question, I remember you talking about John Maxwell and Les Brown. I know that you are one of those senior platinum member with Les Brown, and to get into the platinum membership and to be a platinum speaker of Les Brown is so important, and I think it will escalate you to a higher level. Now, how important is coaching, and why did you go for coaching? You are a coach, I'm a coach. Why is coaching that important for you?
Well, coaching is important for me because I honestly feel like most of us won't go the extra mile if there's not someone to push us. If you look at several interviews from major sports athletes, the ones that are super successful, you know, take for instance a Scottie Pippen, or take for instance a Charles Barkley or LeBron James. Every single one of them will attribute their success to two things: understanding how to play their role position, knowing their giftedness, their talent. And the second thing to always mention is their coach. That person is in the trenches with them, riding with them, because coaches can see things that we can't see on the ground front. So I'm always a person where I'm looking to get to the next level of success. And for every level, for every vision, the very first thing you must do is find either a mentor or a coach. Now, here's the thing. A lot of folks don't understand the difference between mentors and coaches, because some mentors can be both a mentor and a coach. Some of the best mentors I had are not going to be your coach. They're going to mentor you. They're going to tell you what you need to do. Here's the blueprint. Here's the steps. Show me what you're working on. But they're not going to sit there and ride you every day and hold you accountable and say, did you do what I told you to do? So when I look at Les Brown, he's a powerful mentor. He doesn't work in a coach capacity. If he gives me instructions of what to do, my job is to come back in a week and say, hey, I just finished out what you asked me to do, and I get feedback on it. But he's not going to call me every day and say, hey, what's going on? Have you done that thing I told you to do? Have you done that website? Have you done that new marketing piece? So with coaching is important because coaches are there to help you to get to the next level. They're the ones that's in the trenches. They ride you. They know exactly what your goals and dreams are. And they are tough on you when it calls for it.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't want that tough love, but we're tough on you when it needs to be done. Absolutely important. If you want to be successful, find a mentor, find a coach.
Absolutely. Karim, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Karim, all the way from the US.